Today, I'm going to share with you my 3 favorite photos from 2020 and the story behind each one of them. Let's do this. What's up? If we haven't met before, my name is Kraft, and I'm an amateur photographer. I just started this year in past year in 2020. I bought myself a Canon M50 out of necessity. You see, I was doing all of the filming for my church and putting on an hour-long church service each week, from the producing side of it, the editing side of it, the filming side of it, a whole 9 yards, coordinating people's schedules to film during a pandemic, all that fun stuff with just my iPhone 11 Pro Max. And it was not cutting it at all. It landed on my bed. I didn't just throw it onto the wall or something like that, but it was not cutting it at all, and so I needed something better. And so out of my own money, I bought a Canon M50 because I was loving filming and I was loving the process of learning to edit and stuff like that. So I figured I would just go ahead and buy one of the best recommended cameras out there for beginners, the Canon M50. And in the midst of all that, I fell in love with taking photos. And so from day one, I went out with my Canon and I started taking some really amazing shots. At least I think they're really amazing. You may think they're ugly, and if that's the case, cool. Thanks for checking it out, bro. But at least for me, I thought these shots were beautiful. And the thing I also love about each one of these shots is they tell a very cool story behind the scenes about me, my life, and where I was at the time. And so I want to share those stories with you today, starting with photo number 1. So photo number 1 is going to be on the screen now. It's this picture of Newport, and it says AMC, a movie theater chain. And so this happened near downtown Cincinnati, where I was living at the time, at a place called Newport on the Levee. I used to go to Newport on the Levee and watch a movie at least twice a week. I know that sounds expensive, but where I'm at, AMC has a program called AMC A-List, where you pay $20 a month and you can see 3 movies a week. And so I was doing that. It was a great way for me to get out, go by myself, and do something relaxing. And so I would go and I would see a movie pre-pandemic all the time. And so I decided when I first got my camera back in May that I wanted to go out and I wanted to get some shots. And so I drove down to the levee and I was out and I walked across the bridge that connects Newport, Kentucky to downtown Cincinnati. And as I was coming back, I got this shot and I was like, wow, this is an amazing shot. And that's part of the reason I love the shot, is that it's the start of my journey into photography. While of course there's some stuff that I look at the shot now and I'm like, I don't know if I dig the bridge being in there as much. I could have zoomed in more and stuff like that. More focus on the Newport and the AMC IMAX sign. But man, like, I look at this shot and despite the things that could be better, I love the fact that this ungraded, like, this is natural colors that come out of the Canon M50, was the first shot that I looked at and went, man, I love taking photos. The other cool part of the story is that I almost got kicked out of the levee after taking this photo, because as I walked back from across the bridge, a security guard approached me thinking I was with some news media organization taking photos on the levee, and he started grilling me with question after question after question. I thought for sure I was about to get kicked out of a place that I go to literally all the time. But luckily I was like, dude, I'm just a new photographer. I just bought a camera. It's not like I'm here trying to write a news article or anything like that. He's like, all right, fine. And then I left shortly after that because I was like, I don't want to get kicked out or sent to jail for taking photos. And so I got back in my car and I went home. But man, I think of that day as just the start of my photography journey. Photo number 2 is of what I believe to be a church in downtown Cincinnati. This was a day where I was walking with my family in downtown Cincinnati in June. We all met up and we took a walk from one place to another to a little outdoor market so we could all pick some stuff up, and we were walking to this market and kind of just enjoying the warm sunny day that it is in June. And so we took a trip downtown, and so naturally, because we were all going downtown together, I brought my camera, and I just started taking photos after photos. I got some really cool ones of my family, but I got this beautiful shot of this church, and I love that this was also the time where I was starting to really mess with color grading, and so I threw this bad boy into Lightroom and I started messing around, and I got the sky to look the way it did, and what I feel like the orange there is to pop a little bit, and I loved that photo. But I also loved part of this photo for me is the recognition of where I was in my life. I knew that a season of my life was closing with the current job I was in, and I knew that my life was beginning to change. And so as I look back at this photo, the story behind it is not only just an amazing day that I spent with my family, but it's also a photo that reminds me that in a few months I would be leaving my current job to start a new job. It was the moment I knew I was asking some hard questions about where I wanted to be in 5 years and a lot of things like that. And so as I look at this photo, it represents the beauty of having a great day with my family, but also there's a police siren, but but also the questions that began to form inside of me. And this last photo happened in my new apartment. I opened the door one day in my new apartment and I saw this beautiful pink sunset off to the distance. The snow had just fallen. It was, beginning of December. Christmas was right around the corner. And I thought, man, what a beautiful shot of the start of winter and the start of snow and the start of the Christmas season. And so I snapped this picture. And like I said, this was outside of my new apartment, and I remember thinking as I took this picture outside of my new apartment, how far I had come. You see, life for me wasn't easy for a long time. Probably since late 2017, I had been really wrestling and dealing with a lot of hardship and walking through a really just tough season. Felt like I was in a desert, for lack of a better term, that I was just in this desert, wandering, trying to get to where I needed to go. And then as I took this photo and I reflect back on it, I remember that being one of the first few times that I felt like I was out of the desert, that I was done wandering, that I was through a hard time that I had been in for a few years, and I was on the other side and I was entering into something good in my life. And so this photo it's beautiful because of the pink sunset, but it's also beautiful because of what it represents in my life. This turning point, the start of something new. The old going away, the old hardships, the old frustrations, the old struggles, and entering into something new, just a new breath of fresh air amidst the chaos of everything else. So yeah, those are my 3 favorite photos from 2020, maybe my 3 best photos from 2020, and that's the story behind each one. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe it gave you a glimpse into who I am a little bit more. Hey, if you liked watching this video and you liked hearing these stories, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. I would love it if you stuck around and continue to engage with me. I'm new at this YouTube thing. I'm just trying to figure it out, and so I would love it if you joined me for the journey as well. Hey, other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.